A.B. He could be the killer. For more than a week, Kostoyev sat face to face with Chikatilo. To heighten the pressure, he was interrogated not in the police station, but in the local headquarters of the KGB. First, he said nothing, but gradually Kostoyev broke down his resistance. Chikatilo finally confessed to 34 of the 36 murders of which he was accused. Stunning his captors, he then admitted to 19 more, which police until then had not even linked with him. Among them was the murder of 9-year-old Lena Zakotnova, 12 years before, for which Alexander Kravchenko had already been shot. When I went to search his flat, it was in a mess as usual. I was interested in the murder weapon, insofar as all the crimes were committed with a sharp weapon with a blade, in other words, a knife. If I remember correctly, we found some 22 or 24 of them. I've never seen a family with such a quantity of knives. There was no possible justification for such a large number. In the weeks that followed, Chikatilo took his captors on a macabre tour of his killings, amazing them with the accuracy of his memory. Even 10 years after he had killed, he was still able to pinpoint the place, down to a few meters. The biggest surprise came with the case of Alyosha Khobotov. Although it was more than 14 months since the boy had disappeared from his home in Shakhty, still nothing was known about his fate. Defendant Chikatilo, Andrei Romanovich. It's now 1600 Moscow time. Following your suggestion, made today in the Botanic Gardens in the city of Rostov, our group has accompanied you to the city of Shakhty. At your suggestion, we have stopped at the cemetery, the central cemetery of the city of Shakhty. Can you lead us from here and show us the place where you committed a crime against the underage boy, Khobotov? Now Chikatilo is telling us where he killed the boy and where he buried the body. The episode is fundamental to the chain of investigation of this series of murders, because we did not know where the body was. And so, it obviously constitutes very weighty proof of Chikatilo's involvement in this murder.
When they found him, I was called to identify him. They showed me the sneakers. I recognized them at once. I had bought them myself. He had them on when he was leaving. The sneakers were covered with blood. Later, we went to Rostov, to the mortuary. It was late in the evening, already night. I caught sight of a box on the expert's desk. I asked, "Where is my son?" "Over there in the box, all folded up." I said, "Open it up. I want to see what is left of him. There were just bones, and the head was a skull. It could only have been his skull because several teeth had been extracted and they were missing. That completely convinced me that it was my son.
Not only Chikatilo's victims suffered, so too did his wife Faina. After threats to her life, she was rushed over the border to Ukraine, where she was given a new identity. Nadezhda Tarasova met her again by chance, just before the trial started.
When I saw her, I simply did not recognize her. She had grown old. Her face had gone dark. She said she was being killed by grief. She was going to the church when I met her. She didn't know where to look. She said, "Nadia, until now, I didn't want to see anybody. But now, I've met you, I can pour out my soul to you. It weighs very heavily on me." She said, "I never knew what he was up to." And I said, "How come you never noticed anything? Like when he came home and had that bag with him, those things. Couldn't you have just had a look?" She said, "You know, I tried once. He told me off so badly that I said, 'Okay, they're your things.' I didn't try to touch them after that, and didn't touch his bag."
On October 14, 1992, the trial in Rostov moved into its last dramatic phase. Over the previous 6 months, dozens of witnesses had come forward to confirm the case that police and prosecutors had built up so painstakingly. When Leonid Akubjanov read the verdict, he had serious doubts about one of the killings, that of a 15-year-old Armenian girl whom Chikatilo was alleged to have killed in 1983. But apart from that, he had no doubts. Chikatilo appears to have confessed largely in the hope that he would be found to be mentally ill. With that hope gone, now rambling and incoherent, he withdrew his confession. "I didn't sign this list. I didn't admit anything. I signed where I said that I didn't confess. I didn't kill anyone apart from the mafia, the Assyrian mafia I killed. Take me and I'll show you where the bodies are." But it was too late. Chikatilo had already said too much. Akubjanov found Chikatilo guilty of 52 murders. The sentence was set for the next afternoon. "Why should I listen to your rubbish? Now you're trying to force another 10 killings on me." Taking into consideration the monstrous crimes which he committed, the court has no alternative but to impose the only sentence which he deserves. I therefore sentence him to death.
He is not a man, he's an animal, who should not have a place on earth. Why can't our government understand it? Why did they waste all this time with him? The trial lasted 4 months. He said he was sick. How could he be sick? It's me that's sick. I couldn't fill out all the declarations. But him, look at what letters he wrote and what declarations. Execution is too good for him. They should rip him apart as a warning to others.
I don't have the slightest doubt about these killings. Otherwise, there would not have been 52 of them. If there had been doubts about any, then they'd have been left out. The fact that he's been convicted of 52 murders means that the court is completely convinced that the monster Chikatilo killed all of these 52 people. Marat Kabibulin, the state lawyer who had the difficult job of defending Chikatilo, is still in touch with his client. He says the pressure of public opinion made the death sentence inevitable. Although not claiming Chikatilo is innocent, he says he is insane. I have